Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the membership workshop. This month, we're focusing on welcoming back dropped youth into your units and how to incorporate your troops and packs to work together at the big events and to really introduce the Cubs to the older scouts and get them comfortable with the idea of sticking around for longer than just their pack life cycle. So welcome, everybody. I'm going to attempt to share my screen with all my tabs open. Once again, you guys know I do that. And let's see here. And I have too many things open. Do you guys see the PowerPoint? No? Okay, I gotta stop it. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Popped up for a moment, and then it disappeared.
Yep. It spooled for a little bit and then it appeared.
Okay.
It could be my bandwidth too. I got one kid watching Disney Plus in one room and the other one's on Netflix.
That always happens, right? All right, here we go. You'd think I'd be a pro by now at sharing the screen, but for some reason it always trips me up a little bit.
I can see it, Cindy.
All right, perfect. All right. So we love talking about the Pinewood Derby. We were just talking about it before we started our recording. And the Derby is just a great event for not only for our packs, but really to involve dropped scouts that may have dropped recently that haven't experienced the Derby, which I think the Derby is really something that helps keep those scouts interested, because it's just it's one of those events that every person loves. I don't know anyone, adult or child, that does not love the Derby. It was one of my favorites. I think I say that every time I talk about the Derby. I absolutely love it. So, you know, as you continue to invite more and more families into scouting, you know, think about these annual activities like the Derby, like Blue and Gold, like maybe a regatta, and other annual fun activities that you do that everyone really, really enjoys. It's all the fun stuff. And whether you've already hosted it or not, think about hosting an additional Derby or an outlaw Derby as a recruiting event. And it's important to not leave out the bigger kids. I know when we crossed over from the pack to the troop, they were considering not inviting those AOLs, those Weebelows back to do the Derby. And they were so disappointed. You know, we think these kids are such big kids once they hit a milestone, right? And once they move on to middle school or once they move on to high school, and they're still little kids inside here, especially, and they really love the fun stuff. So it's really important to invite them back, whether you invite them back to race their car in a little outlaw race in between races with your scouts and your dens, or have them come back and be helpers. You know, they can grab the cars at the end of the race and bring them back up to re-race another round. They can help the kids fix their cars or make tweaks to their cars. And the older kids helping the younger kids is really key, because those younger kids really look up to the older kids, and they're gonna wanna stick around and be like the big kids, you know, at some point, if they don't already. On the Bsa Brand Center, as you notice this image in the background here, this is one of the images on the Bsa Brand Center, has a ton of new Derby materials that are really helpful to post on social media, to use as printouts and marketing materials, or even emails for recruiting purposes, or just to promote it within your pack. Here's another image too. They do have masked images and unmasked as well. So, you know, be sure to have a plan, right? It's important whether you're recruiting or not, whatever event that you have coming up, you want to make sure you have a solid plan. So if you're using the Derby as a recruiting event or thinking about it, you know, think about, are you going to have extra cars, or are you going to maybe ask folks to pick up cars? Or are you going to ask your scouts and even some of your partnering troop scouts to bring in their old cars for guests to borrow and use? We'll guests need to buy their own kits. So this is all, you know, you want to backdate and make sure you're giving your guests plenty of time to plan to join your event. Ask scouts if they'd like to cut cars for their friends, and then they invite those non-scouting friends to the derby saying, hey, I cut a car for you. And then when those friends show up, they can actually decorate their own car. You can have maybe like a car, a crew pit, and you can have it with stickers and some markers or crayons. I know my son used to color his car with crayons. I know there's a lot of fancy cars out there with glow in the dark paint and all this fun stuff, but William just wanted to color with crayons. So even having simple craft objects like that, the kids get super excited to just decorate their own car. And then they can race, in a race in between your unit's races as well. And, having the scouts cut a car and maybe even create a fancy car for their friends is a great lesson in thoughtfulness and teamwork and scout spirit. And of course, be sure you promote the event, right? There's no use in having this big event and not promoting it. And invite those drop scouts and non-scouting friends early enough for them to save the dates. As we mentioned, invite your partnering troop. Most of our units do invite their den chiefs to come and help out, which is wonderful. But invite them in. And of course, this all depends on how the comfort level with COVID too. I should preface by saying that because I know COVID is still an issue. So, follow what your chart organization wants you to do in terms of capacity and mask wearing and sanitizing and all that fun stuff. But, extend invites to the partnering troop and other scouting groups, even in your area. Maybe if you have a smaller unit, it would be good to team up with another unit to make the race more exciting. Invite older scouts, especially your den chiefs, to volunteer at a station or give them a specific task. And have a race against den chiefs. Or like we said, an outlaw derby that's maybe separate or between the scout races. Prepare a flyer, which you can find on the Bsa Brand Center, with your upcoming activities that would be appropriate to invite the younger scouts to. So the troop, leaders would prepare this flyer, bring it to the pack, and then that way you're already forming that relationship. I know there's a lot of units that they rely on maybe a once or twice a year event that involves their partnering pack to kind of foster that relationship. Start thinking about it throughout the year. Maybe you have a fall event. Maybe your winter event is the derby where you combine, your spring event and then over the summer as well. This gets your younger kids and those families comfortable with the troop and looking forward to joining the troop and their families. They already have that relationship when they cross over, which is really important. Have you guys hosted your derbies yet?
We just handed out the cars.
You did?
We
What
don't
are
have
your,
one-
what are
we
your
don't have
plans
ours until March.
Yeah, ours is gonna be in March.
in March? Yeah. I know
We,
some units do it like now, and then some units wait till March, it seems like.
we host a Lego derby using the Pinewood Derby track in end of October. So it's the same thing. It's a plastic cart, Lego wheel, the derby wheels, exactly the same size, but you use Legos. That way, any new people that come in, they can just put Legos on it and still race. And they love it when it crashes. And it goes all over the floor. It's a great way for our group to do a recruiting poll. We host it during a coffee hour, so we get the church parishioners come down.
Oh, that's great. That's a great idea. I love the Legos because, who doesn't love Legos? And then, like you said, when it crashes, it's so much fun.
The Lego Derby cars are same price as a regular car. It's the same thing. It's worked exactly the same way, so it works.
That's
And
awesome.
we had past members donate Legos.
That's
The
mom's
mom's trying to get rid of those Legos after years of stepping on them.
Yes, I've done that. That hurts a lot.
And instead of throwing them away, they donate. We had a couple from our church donate, from their grandkids over time. So.
Oh, that's
utilize-
great. And how do you involve the troop, Josh? Or do you involve the troop?
We haven't. Our troop doesn't really communicate that much with us. But I do have the previous AOLs that have bridged over because their siblings are still part of the pack. They'd still come down. So I get another year or two out of them.
That's great.
So I guess I involve them somehow, but not really individually with the unit.
Yeah, I know it can be tricky because I know, packs over the years, they, well, any unit over the years, they have, their traditions, right? And so sometimes, there's things that you've just done every year and you don't think, oh, well, maybe we invite this group, or maybe we involve the troop a little bit more this time, or whatever it is. And it might improve the relationship more if you're able to get a few of them there with you.
Yeah, the unit that's chartered with us under the same charter, I've tried reaching out and they don't try. They don't
Oh,
bother.
sorry. That makes
But
it difficult. For
it
sure.
does. But I get the kids anyways for another year or two that are, they bridge over to that one or another one. Like 272, I got a couple that came from the pack, went to them so they can help us out.
Oh, nice.
So I get help from the boys one way or the other, or the girl.
Yeah. You can only do what you can.
Yeah.
Lynn, did you have any ideas or anything that you guys have done?
So I have to tell you, Cindy, this is going to be my first Pinewood Derby in about 15 years.
Oh my
Since
goodness.
I've been on the troop level for many years because my kiddo is like 31.
Oh, I love it.
But now we're also on the pack side as well. Because I don't have enough to do, I guess.
Right.
But some years the pack has asked for some older scouts to come and help, and that's going to be my plan this year too. I do like the whole outlaw race idea. I think that may really entice some of our older scouts to be interested in doing that. When I was involved in the pack years ago, we also had an adult race, which was kind of fun.
That's really fun. We did that too.
Yeah,
That was,
and it kind of
kids love it
kept
too.
the adults from kept the adults from building their own kids' cars.
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
invariably that's what happens. So maybe I'll approach our troop boys to see if they're interested in doing an outlaw race, and if that's okay with the rest of the pack, then that to me sounds like a lot of fun.
It's really fun
Yeah.
because there's no rules too, so they can kind of just build a crazy car, race it down, which is a lot of fun. And you brought up a good point about the leaders and some of the adults building the cars. Number one, like you said, they can just build their own car and not get too overly involved, right?
Yep.
It's a nice aspect that the adult helps the cub, but you really don't want them doing all the work.
And if I think back, I think I remember the 3 top adults then raced against the 3 top scouts. And it was really, really great when the scouts beat the adults.
Exactly. And they love that, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, a few of our leaders did like leader races, and the kids loved it. And of course, I was the popcorn colonel for a few years, and my car, which I think was right up here. I'm looking, I have a shelf right here. I thought it was right here. That's my daughter's car. It was right here, but I of course made it like, so I left it square. I didn't cut it. I left it square like this, but I did a popcorn bag around it and did popcorn kernels on top. And all the
fun.
kids got a kick out of that.
Yeah. The other thing we would do years past was a sibling race.
Oh yeah.
Because some kids, particularly now that girls can be involved in scouting, before they couldn't, and now that might bring over maybe a few girls or something. I don't know.
That's true. It's great to involve the siblings, like you said. Girls is still seen it, as a new thing with, Scouts BSA, and I think a lot of people still aren't quite sure what that looks like or how that works in some of our units. So it's great to invite those siblings in if your unit is open to having girls and boys, and it's a great way to get them involved. Absolutely. Donna, in your experience, do you have any tips or anything that you thought was fun?
We did what Lynn did. We did a sibling race. And with the pack in Nashua, the kids could go anywhere for the troops. So we didn't tend to invite any of the troops over. But in the past, in Hollis, there were so many kids that we couldn't extend it too far. It took us all day to do it as it was.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then and sort of like Josh, the troop did not connect with the pack. It was just understood that the kids were going into the troop. So
Yeah.
but we had so many kids we couldn't at that time. We couldn't.
Mm.
It would have been a into the night affair.
Yeah, we had one
Yeah.
derby that it was quite a few hours. I remember it was a long day, and then we
Yeah.
kind of got used to the system, and and I don't know what happened. It was so funny because the next year I had planned to be there like the entire day, and it was over in like 2 hours, and I was shocked because we had like 50 scouts, but we somehow got through all the races. But yeah, you're right. Sometimes when you have a lot of people, it definitely
Yeah.
can take up the entire day.
Yeah, the old track that we used to use was literally home built, and it was held up, balanced on 2x4s. So,
Wow.
so sometimes it would get knocked over.
Oh my gosh, that must have been rough.
It was just like, don't go near the track, boys.
Oh my gosh. I know the pack, the pack that we used to belong to, Pack 19, they have, the metal track and all that stuff, and it's
Yep.
electronic. But during COVID, they had their bear den build a wooden track to use outside. And it was, for the Grin and Bear It achievement, I believe. Does that sound right? When they have to build something, I think it's that one. I love that one. And so they helped build the track, and they did the derby outside. So they still had the derby over COVID, and it was just excellent. And the kids loved it, and they all had like, ownership of it because they literally built the track. So that was cool to
Nice.
see. So one of the many workshops we have at Granite Base Camp coming up and very soon actually is the Pinewood Derby car cutting workshop. So if you haven't cut cars yet, or if you know other units that maybe struggle with getting the tools and cutting the cars, it's free, and it's Saturdays starting February 5th through the 26th. They just don't, I put 3/5 there. That's not correct. It's with the exception of 3/25. They won't have programming that day. It's 10 to 2 in Manning Hall at Camp Carpenter. So it's just, help out our units, get people to come check out Camp Carpenter. This is a glow in the dark image that is on the Bsa Brand Center. And we were just saying how one of our units actually hosted a glow in the dark Pinewood Derby, which looked super cool. They had black lights and glow in the dark paint and all this stuff that was glowing in the dark everywhere. Another great idea for, what's that?
We're doing that this year.
Oh, you are? Oh, that's so fun. I wish we thought of that. We didn't, I never even thought of that. I don't know why. We just kind of.
We did that years ago when I was a kid, and then
Oh, you
it
did?
faded
Oh,
away
neat.
every year. Back in the early 90s, we were doing that, and then it kind of faded, and now it's back. Everything comes in cycles.
It's so true. I know, I'm sure it's so much fun for the kids to see their cars glow and everything.
I know they ended up posting the advertising about the workshop today. Have you posted that on Facebook yet?
I don't think it's
I'm-
on Facebook yet.
I've only seen it through the Scout shop, and they said details coming soon, so they haven't posted dates or any details.
Yeah, I think,
I have a couple, quite a few families interested.
oh, good, that's awesome. I think there'll be either email probably, and definitely something posted on Facebook very soon. I know Allison was working on that to get the word out for everybody. Yeah, so that should be really fun. And blue and gold is another, favorite, of course. It's such a great celebration to, award our scouts, recognize our leaders, and a big milestone for our scouts that cross over as well. So of course, obviously most packs invite the partnering troop or the troop representatives that the scouts are crossing over to. Another thing is invite, not only your present leaders, but your past leaders as well. Show them how far the scouts have come, and maybe they have kids that maybe stepped out of scouting and maybe they'll be inspired to step back in. The blue and gold, usually you have a slideshow. It's usually kind of an emotional event, and it really tugs at the heartstrings for everybody. And it's a great event to really invite people that maybe you want to inspire to join you, whether it's volunteers or scouts coming back in, or even new scouts. Consider inviting community leaders, school group leaders, your PTOs and your PTAs, maybe someone from the Board of Education. I think it's important for them to see all the good things that our scouts do in the communities, because if we can strengthen our partnership with the schools and our school districts, then that will help us grow and maintain our units as well. And then, of course, consider inviting past scouts or scouts that dropped recently. Invite them back. Hey, we're gonna have food, we're gonna have hot chocolate. You're in our slideshow. We want you to see the slideshow, and have them come back, and it may inspire them to come to the next event. We do have blue and gold placemats that you can reserve. They are free, and the placemats are, of course, all sorts of camp information, and they have like an image that you can color. It has a word find. It's based on the theme Weird Science, because that's the summer camp theme this year. And those placemats are really great to maybe put a sticker or even write in your contact information. So if there are visitors that come to your event and they say, I'd like to go back and check out a meeting, maybe this is something I'll volunteer for, or gee, I'd like to come back for the next event. I was in scouting, maybe I'll come back again. Maybe you have a little schedule of your events on the back of that placemat. You could print out flyers and maybe just tape them to the back of the placemat. Or a little QR code that leads to your unit's website, and just have people check that out. Your contact information obviously would be on there, and that way they can have a way to contact you. And the kids, they always want to take home their color pages and all that, so they're going to be taking that stuff home with them. So speaking of welcoming back those scouts that may have left us, there are some great tools on our membership and marketing hub. Lots of resources, that including a welcome to scouting email, very detailed, that you can customize and then send out to your Be a Scout leads. So when you get those Be a Scout leads, a lot of times we might write a quick message to them or say, okay, this is when we're going to meet, you can come. This link here, it's on the membership and marketing hub under leader resources. There is a specific email that explains the Cub Scouting / Scouts BSA program. It also has a blurb about Granite Base Camp. So Granite Base Camp is, as you guys know, is a try before you buy kind of program. And it's our public facing program. So it's really scout programming without really putting the name Scouts on it. And so when people go and try Granite Base Camp and they enjoy a lot of the programming, that is another avenue for us to get them into scouting units. So there is a blurb about Granite Base Camp and how they can find programming there. And then the Bsa Brand Center, they have an email blurb. They have a social media post version, or even a text version of inviting back the drop scouts. And each one is obviously formatted just right. So the text is kind of more casual, hey, we know life happens, and we've missed you at our meetings. Join us for the next meeting at blah, blah, blah. And they're all obviously customizable on the Bsa Brand Center under Welcome Back. And I can show you those in a second too. So take a look at the list of your drop scouts, the contact information you may have kept within within the last few years, and create an email group of scouting supporters, of the scouts families that haven't come back in a while, and periodically email those families and those supporters with a rundown of maybe what you did in the past month or the past week, And then, have links to your website, and hopefully on your website, you have pictures of your activities. Maybe you have a slideshow when your website opens up of all the great stuff your scouts have been doing. Or maybe you do that on your Facebook page, and the Facebook page is a great resource for our units as well. And just send them all the information, and have a, at the end, you can put an invite to your very next meeting. Please come and say hi. We know things get busy, but feel free to come back and say hello. We'd love to see you. Or if you have a big event, like if your derby's coming up, then that's when you can invite them to the derby, and just kind of keep them posted. And maybe once a month or so, you send them somewhat of a newsletter, and you just keep them in touch with the unit. And eventually, of course, some people, they may have moved on to other things, but eventually, if they keep getting reminded and they see all the cool things that you're doing, maybe you went roller skating, maybe you went on a hike, maybe you did art in the snow, or whatever cool event, and show pictures of those in that newsletter. And they may say, this is kind of cool. They're getting outside. My kid needs to get off the computer. Maybe we'll go to the next event. And, as we always like to say too, keep in mind that, I know a lot of us, we take it personally when families don't come to every meeting. And that's really hard, because we work really hard during every meeting to provide really good programming. But our families are so busy right now between, sports, after school activities, even just homework, all other events, parents have late night meetings, whatever it may be. So just make sure that your parents know. You may think they know, but they don't always know that, I know I feel guilty when we miss a meeting, and we're there all the time. But, make sure you make it really clear to your families, during maybe a committee meeting, or maybe with some parents as you're talking, that it's okay that they have other things, and that they're welcome to come and go when it is, easy for them to do so. Scouting is fun, and it should remain fun. It shouldn't be a burden to the families. So I always try to, I like to remind myself, even, it's like, keep it simple, make it fun. That is the key, because even with PTO and the other groups I'm involved in, I have to remind myself of that phrase, because us adults tend to make things complicated, don't we? It's like we don't, it's like we think it has to be harder, so we make it harder. We think it has to be more work, so we make it more work. Keep it simple and make it fun. And chances are, if you're having fun, not only are the kids having fun, but you're going to have adults wanting to get in on the fun. It's kind of like peer pressure, but like in a nice scouting appropriate way. They see that you're having fun, and they're going to want to get involved too. And that just creates a really positive cycle. And as I said below, invite those scouts and supporters to your derby, your blue and gold, court of honors, your pack meetings, Eagle Court of Honors, definitely, and any other large events. Does anyone have questions or comments before I show you just the letters on the Bsa Brand Center? No, I know you guys are old pros. I know you guys know this stuff. So I think I have to stop sharing quick, and then I go into, there we go. I should be able to find that. I have too many tabs open. I gotta get that under control. All right. Do you guys see the screen with all the escape images here?
Yes.
Awesome. So right here is under, see over here on the left, it says welcome back. So it says 2021 fall recruitment. So it's something that they rolled out obviously in the fall, but I don't think many of us know it's hiding here. But it says welcome back, and it has these three text images here. And one is welcome back to social media. Well, not welcome back to social media, welcome back, and it's to post on social media. So they have suggested copy, which is really great. And it says, life happens, we get it. It's been a while since you've attended a Cub Scout meeting. Now's the time to get back in the swing of things. Pack meetings are starting up soon. This, of course, is in the fall. And then you insert your email address, your Facebook page, your unit website, your phone number, all that, any and all of that contact information. and instead of saying that, you know, I know we're still in January and we're about to get a huge winter storm, but if you're thinking spring, like I'm trying to wish it to happen right now, you know, you could really make this an effort for spring and say, you know, life happens, we get it. It's been a while since you attended a Cub Scout meeting. Now it's time to bring back into scouting, right? And you know, a lot of people with the seasons changing, you know, maybe a winter sport is over and they're ready to pick up a new activity. So it's a great time to get them to dive in. The next one is suggested email copy. And so they even have the subject line, as you can see here. They have the whole email, you know, written out, which is really nice. You know, obviously you can add or subtract from this, but it's just kind of a plug and play type of thing, which is nice. It saves us a little bit of time. And then they even have a text message. So if you feel like your parents respond better to text messages, I know some of our parents do, they even have a text message, you know, suggestion here as well. Don't forget the contact information. Don't forget, I feel like it's really nice to invite them to like a specific meeting or a specific event, but obviously whatever, you know, works for you guys, you know, to just be in touch with those families works. However you're keeping in touch works. This is all to escape the indoors, but as you'll see tonight at 8 o'clock, they have started a spring effort called Adventure On. And if your units are doing, I'm not if they're doing, but as they're doing fun adventures like hiking or fishing or even roller skating or whatever the adventure may be, I am requesting pictures from your units, and we're going to feature one unit every Friday as our Adventure On unit, showcasing all the cool things that we are doing. I was going to look for it here. I thought it was right here. So they do have some marketing materials in the BSA Brand Center for Adventure On. Oh, it's looking in the wrong folder. Oh, it's just pulling up random photos. They have like email headers and postcard images and all that fun stuff for you guys to utilize. I'm going to use the postcard images probably as like Facebook posts, I'm thinking. If it has all the escape, they have a ton of escape images. It was right here. Let's see. I just want to show you guys really quick. Start from the beginning. It's coming. All right. So you'll see like right at the top, they'll say Adventure On, and they have Cub Scout versions and Scouts BSA versions. And then those are the promotional assets for the Derby as well. And they have flyers, they have the logos, they have postcards, posters. They have web banners, so you can even update your web pages. I love the postcards because the postcards are kind of generic images, which is nice for Scouts BSA. And at the top, it says, you know, join today at bscout.org. So you could even just download this and just share this image on your social media pages, or, you know, add it to the bottom of the emails that you send to prospective families as well. And they have those images, and then the Adventure On, you know, logo by itself as well. So there's a lot. I love the cooking one too. And it's just great because it's pretty generic and you can just share them, and it has really, you know, if someone's just scrolling through Facebook quick or scrolling through, you know, their phones or their emails, this pops up, grabs their attention, and that's really all the information they need to know. They're going to end up finding you on bscout.org. So it's great. I'll go back to my PowerPoint here. And there's lots of other tools on the BSA Brand Center. They have a lot of stock videos and testimonials and images that you can use. So I definitely, when you have time, suggest going through there if you haven't already, because there is a lot of great things to utilize that will end up saving you some time. All right. So just really quick, some ideas, and all that this slide deck will be available on the Membership and Marketing Hub as well. So, you know, as we talked about, planning some specific welcome back activities is always a great idea. You know, you could plan one every season or a couple every season to invite back some drop scouts, or have your scouts bring a friend. So this winter, ice fishing, ice skating, or a roller skating night, and a roller skate, and any of these events are also really great to combine with your partnering troop or older scouts if you're able to contact them if they're interested. I know there's a few packs and troops that do a combined roller skating night, and it's really fun for them to just get together and have a blast out there and fall constantly. I don't even put skates on at this point. I don't want to embarrass myself. Bowling is great. A movie night. I know Chunky's, they'll rent out a theater for like 99 bucks if you want to bring your own movie, and you can have a movie night there for pretty inexpensive. A fishing derby, an outlaw derby like we talked about. We must like that idea. I know I've mentioned it like 8 times. Regatta Regatta, which the Regatta Regatta you can hold inside as long as you feel like the water's not gonna get everywhere. Maybe use some tarps underneath. Or a Gaga Ball tournament. And the council does have a Gaga Ball set. And we also have the mobile base camp that can be used at larger activities as well. So don't forget to request the mobile base camp, or we even have a mini mobile base camp that has kind of scaled down items if you're having a larger community event. And then we just have a few quick reminders. Granite Base Camp is hosting a winter break day camp, and you can register for that right now. There are still some spaces left. You can go to experiencebasecamp.org and register there. Both my kids are going, and they're going to try to get outside, you know, as much as possible and play in the snow. And looks like we'll probably still have snow by then, so that will be good. And then for those of you interested in the camp directors chat, because again, we're having winter weather, but we're talking about summer camp. The upcoming camp info sessions, the first one's January 30th. They're all at 7 p.m. Of course, these will be on the council Facebook page and web page as well. And again, this will be posted with the with this presentation on the Membership and Marketing Hub. And then your resources. This is a QR code for the Membership and Marketing Hub in case you haven't saved it in your bookmarks. And I love to use these tools. I love Sign Up Genius to get volunteers to help out. Cognito forums are wonderful to collect information. Grammarly, if you're not a grammar king or queen, helps you, you know, correct those errors in emails and anything that you're writing out, of course. Poster My Wall and Canva are free flyer, you know, image creating websites. So, and Poster My Wall is excellent. That's my favorite. Canva is great too, but I guess I feel like Poster My Wall is a little bit more user friendly for me, but there are people who prefer Canva as well. And you can create flyers, you can create invitations, you can create images to post on your Facebook pages, and they have like stock images that obviously are free. So you don't have to worry about any copyright infringement or anything like that. So I definitely suggest taking advantage of those resources. You can create a flyer and Poster My Wall that looks very professional in a matter of minutes. So it's really a time-saving tool and things look really, really sharp. And that is what I had for this month. Do you guys have any comments or questions or anything I didn't cover? Or?
No, it's really great, Cindy. I do have one question. There's one leader in my troop who's also helping to run our Facebook page,
Oh, nice.
who's been boosting posts all the time. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay.
Because not that there's been any sketchy comments written, but
Mhm.
when I look at some of the profiles of some of the people, they look a little sketchy. So do you think that's worth it? I can't say that we've drawn any people, and some of the people that are liking things are like from across the country, you know?
Really? Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I totally hear you on that. I think it depends.
and it costs
I mean,
money. It costs
yeah,
money too.
that's true. I don't know if they know anything about geofencing. Geofencing may make a little bit more sense when you have an event. And there is, I believe there's a slide deck somewhere on geofencing. I'll get that to you, Lynn.
Okay,
I
great.
forget if it's on the Bsa Brand Center or if we have it on the Marketing Hub. I know I've seen it. So I can send that to all you guys if you'd like.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of creeping me out a little bit, but
yeah,
I don't-
Facebook can be creepy. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might suggest, Lynn, that this is costing the pack a little bit of money.
well, they're paying out of pockets.
Are they?
And
Yeah,
yeah,
Wow.
because you're not getting what you're looking for, what she's showing.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And this is-
geofencing, the
and Donna,
geofencing is within a 2-mile area,
Mhm.
yeah,
so
and this
actually
is-
much better.
yeah, this is on the troop level, not the pack level.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
But,
think, boosting events may be worth it. Like if you're having those, a recruiting event every, month or every few months or whatever you decide to do. And I don't want to call it a recruiting event. That sounds like very forced and
Right.
unfun. But, if you plan a fun event that really will attract,
People.
non-scouters, and then, boosting that, I could definitely see. And then you're not wasting, I don't want to say wasting, that's probably the wrong word, but you don't want to be spending all this money on boosting maybe random posts, maybe boost the posts that are inviting the public. But again, like Donna was saying too, I do feel like geofencing might be a little bit better for that.
Yeah.
And then also, take advantage of, like here we have Nashua Patch, right? I know Merrimack has a, all those, the
Yeah.
patch websites.
I like to use, we have a two-town Hollis Brookline Rotary Club newsletter, and that has a big readership.
That's a great idea.
So and they're very, very happy to take anything I send them.
Oh, that's so great.
Put it up. So, and
Yeah,
even
like a
rewrite,
letter to like,
even rewrite things that I don't write very well.
oh, that's always nice. That's nice of them to
Works
do
for
that.
me.
Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, even sending like a photo with a caption into like your town newspapers, your community newspapers, a lot of times I do that and they literally run the photo with my caption. It's like they just plop it in there, and it's just great to get the word out. And you can always in your caption say, Pack 19 meets Thursdays at 6 p.m. Come visit or whatever it is. If you do a letter to the editor, maybe you're thanking the community for their support for Scouting for Food. It's a great opportunity to write the letter to the editor. And get
unfortunately, we don't really have a local newspaper anymore. The one that still sort of exists. I don't know what you think, Donna, but I never see anything,
Really?
and I've submitted things and they don't do anything about it. It's kind of an offshoot of the Nashua Telegraph. So
yeah.
So I'm using the Rotary Club newsletter.
Yeah, that
and
sounds
then,
like a great avenue.
And then various local Facebook, because there's a lot of Facebook groups between our two towns. But yeah, I'm interested in hearing about the geofencing because
yeah, I'll definitely get that
makes more
over to
sense
you for
me.
sure. Maybe we'll even do I gotta find someone who's more experienced at it than I am to present it, but maybe that will be one of our workshops.
Yeah, maybe Erin.
Yeah, that's true. She probably does know the ins and outs of that.
Probably does.
I know a little bit of it, but probably I don't know if I would do a workshop myself on it. Maybe we can team up. But yeah, that's a great idea to get into, newsletters, your chart organization newsletter if they have one, your local like Chamber of Commerce or any of those, even your PTOs and PTAs, like if they send out newsletters and let's say you did something at the school or if if your scout troop contributed something, make sure that gets in there as well.
Yeah,
Always
yeah, and we
ask
have, we have that opportunity with what used to be school backpack mail, but which is a
Yeah.
weekly announcement kind of thing. And I can't see them because I don't have a kid that age, but when I submit things, I hear they get posted, so.
Oh, that's good. I know, you hope so, right? I know I had sent out a bunch of digital flyers to all our school districts in New Hampshire in August. And there was a good response to it. And, and I feel like you, it's like, they told me they posted it. So hopefully it got out there.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too. The Bsa Brand Center has digital flyers that are really great. They look great in the email and some of them are bilingual as well. And, you can send them out to your PTO groups or even your school administration and just say, hey, if you don't mind sending this out in the next mass email to your, to your school families, I'd really appreciate it. And, it's really simple for them to do that. They just, add it to their
Mhm.
they send out or whatever. I know they do a lot of COVID update emails right now. A lot of them are willing to do that because it's just really easy, and then they don't have to worry about putting the flyers in the mailboxes and kind of that, that effort. So I know that has been a good route for a lot of our units too. And you guys can request flyers, at any time. You don't have to do flyers just one time a year. I have a unit that's requested flyers for like the 5th time this year, and I'm printing more tomorrow actually. So don't forget the flyer. If the school agrees, you can send out, there's no real limitations to sending out flyers. Well, I'll let you guys have a couple minutes before
Yeah.
the membership webinar. Thank you guys so much for coming, and I really appreciate it. I love the feedback too. I love having you guys with me. Spread the word. If you feel like this has been helpful and beneficial, please tell other unit leaders that you see to join us. I would love to have a bigger crowd, just because I think the more the merrier. I don't want to be like talking at people. I like it when people interact, and I would love to have other unit leaders on here for their ideas too.
When's the next one and what's the topic?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. I do have it here. So the next one is, I'm just looking up the date. Let's see. The next one, I thought I had the date right there. It's always the 4th Thursday in February. I mean, in every month it's the 4th Thursday. Not just in February. And the next one is February 24th. And I believe I did that one. Yeah, it was the Webelos AOL's like transition into the troop. And it's like easing that transition, making that transition work for families and the scouts. So it'll be about that transition.
Great.
Thank you for asking. I meant to put it on my slide and I didn't.
That's our roundtable theme for this month. Is last month's roundtable for Arrowhead was how to do the transition to AOL and stuff, and this upcoming one is the other side of the coin. How do troops
Awesome.
handle the first 3-4 months, and how do you, from the Cub Scout side, how do you do the transition online to make
Yeah,
the transition easier? Because not everyone understands the online portion.
that's true.
So,
That's a very good idea. I love how you guys are doing, specific topics, and I think the last round table was great. And
yeah, I'm glad you utilized that video.
what's that?
I'm glad you utilized that video for.
I did. I loved that video. I know I posted it. I don't know if you guys saw it. I used it for my lunchtime live because I just thought it was useful information and very timely. And I always say, like, if someone else can say it better than me, then they should say it. There's no need for me to It's the
Well,
same.
I'm like, it's already made and they cut it down to exactly what I needed it to be, because I'm one that will stay on one part of that,
Yeah.
because I can pan across the audience and I can tell if it's not like, is it connecting with them? I can't tell, I'll lead a little bit more into it. Then I start losing them because I did not realize, no, they got it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It was perfect. It was a perfect length too.
Yeah.
It was great.
but yeah, we're doing that this time for Arrowhead wise, just trying to help out the leaders that are in units that don't know how to do the transition online, and then what troops should be doing for those first 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important because that's when a lot of our scouts drop. You know, they're not feeling that connection.
Mm.
You know, they don't feel a place there. And a lot of times it's the parents too, because I know, like, even though I was super familiar with scouting at the time, when we moved to the troop, I didn't know where my place was. It was so weird, you know?
And that was the reason we decided to go that route. Me and Gary, is just for the fact that I've been to a handful of units and I've got a lot of feedback from newer parents since COVID, and they don't have a clue what, after a year, what direction.
Yeah.
They don't feel like their scouts are
Yeah.
getting anything out of it. They're not ranking up. They don't seem like they've gotten anything out of it, the
It's
first year.
That's very
They're
true.
just showing up to meetings or going to a hike, which I'm like, well, first year, just be patient.
Yeah,
It's that transition year,
It
after
is, that's
that,
true.
once they get into summer camp, it's a lot easier, smoother,
yeah,
because it's not just about the AOLs or that transition. It's also about the boys that are already in the troop that have to handle your boys. It's a
Yeah.
transition for them too, and a lot of parents don't get that.
yeah, and it mixes up things because the patrols, change, and it's, they have these new kids and they're used to their friends, and
Yeah, and who's in charge and who's the leader and how do
Mhm.
going from merit badges and signing off in books compared to belt loops and pins, you got to actually put some work into it, but again, it's not always explained,
That's
or if
true.
it is, it's just up and over people's heads. So I'm hoping this one is. I'm leaving up to Gary this time because he is the troop
Yeah,
council commissioner. So
that's true. Well, Gary, I
hopefully-
saw him the other night.
yeah. So if you see him, make sure he's on it.
I will.
It's his turn.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully I'll catch that one. If I don't, good luck to you guys. And not that you need it, I'm sure it'll be great, but I'll let you guys go off to the next webinar. And
What's the turnaround on the blue and gold thing? So if I put it in, because I forgot to put it in. What's the turnaround time on this?
we are, I think we just put the request in to print the first 1,000. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how fast they'll turn it around on their side. I know it's already designed and everything. We were just waiting on a number to print.
Okay.
The short answer is I'm not 100% sure, but I will email you and let you know.
Okay. And I'm sure I just pick it up at the council, or
Yeah, the
can I
number
buy
care
your
center.
house and pick it up?
Yeah, you can buy my house. Yeah, I know, Josh. I always say, just come by my house. Yeah, I can bring it home too.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you guys
thanks,
so
Cindy.
much.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay,
Yep.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.